Who starts in goal in our World Cup opener? What can we expect from Haiti? The greatest show on earth kicks off tonight. Hello, I'm Kenny Macintyre, and this is the Scottish Football Podcast. All the news, views and analysis you need on Thursday, the 11th of June, the opening day of the 2026 World Cup Finals.
The main feeling is excitement. I imagine that will still be the same because albeit we've all been at major tournaments now, it's now a World Cup.
Only 2 more days to go until Scotland face Haiti, but who will be in goal when we take to the pitch in Boston?
We've got a few days left of training to try and impress and show that we're the one to take that position. So, I mean, that goes for all of us.
Gunn, Gordon, Kelly. We'll ask who will get the big call. And expect the unexpected. What will we see from Haiti?
I've watched Haiti. They are very good. They know exactly what they're doing. They've got a good coach. They've got a good structure to the team. They're very athletic. But we know that game could be pivotal in the group.
Yes, at last the tournament is ready to kick off, and as ever, BBC Radio Scotland has you covered.
The Scottish Football Podcast from BBC Sports Scotland.
A very good morning to our guests, former Scotland goalkeeper Cammy Bell and coach and analyst John Walker. How are you feeling then today, Cammy? Are you the type of guy that's going to be across every single game of this tournament?
Morning, Kenny. Yeah, no, I'm very, very excited. Love football, love to watch any type of football, so I will be catching as much as I can. I'll be up in all sorts of hours watching football, so I'm very excited for the start of it. And
a very special trip planned for you and the family, Cammy?
Yeah, I fly out on Tuesday, so I'm going to the Morocco game with my son and my daughter and my dad. Actually, ironically, my dad went to Scotland v Morocco in '98, so nearly 30 years later he's going to the same game. So yeah, it's really exciting for us as a family and really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I love that. So many stories, John. We'll get the lowdown later on from Haiti, from yourself. You studied all the teams. So what sort of World Cup are we in for? Is it a goal fest?
I think it will be, yeah. I've seen a lot of people talk about the fact that it's so elongated, so many teams, that so many people can go through, that they think the first couple of games will be pretty slow, but I don't think that'll be the case. I think everyone will be going for those first 3 points so they can relax themselves into the tournament, and I think there's a lot of good teams at this tournament.
Cammy, how excited are you with the potential, the talent in this Scotland squad?
Yeah, really excited, Kenny. It's the first time you look at a Scotland squad and we're filled full of real top quality talent. Again, international talent, the guys that are playing all over the world now, Premier League down south. It's really exciting when you see it. We've got a young team as well. We've got young, exciting players. Ben Doak's one that just sticks out right in front of me. He's so exciting to watch. But then you've got the likes of John McGinn, McTominay, Andy Robertson, all these guys who have got huge high-level experience with their clubs and international-wise. So yeah, I look at the squad and I think we're in such a good position. We just need to go and deliver now.
Yeah, you were nodding along there, John. So many options for Steve Clarke right now.
Yeah, it's becoming a point where I'm still questioning myself. I'm probably still got PTSD about this back five and trying to wedge in Kieran Tierney and Andy Robertson, because I'm probably still of the era of going, those are our 2 world-class players, but that's not the case anymore. You've got world-class players, 3 or 4 or 5 people in centre mid. One of them's going to have to miss out. Do you choose Shankland Adams? Do you choose Ben Doak off the right? You've got Finlay Curtis who's coming through. It is a squad littered with it. I mean, Hickey, Patterson, Ralston has been your backup 3 right backs. It's ridiculous.
I want to get your thoughts out later, John, just on the potential formations and the pros and cons of these, what Steve Clarke will be weighing up. But let's start with your area of expertise, Cammy. Before you tell us who would get the nod in goal, give us a lowdown on the 3 contenders, the strengths and potential weaknesses of the 3, starting with Craig Gordon.
I think when you look at Craig, Kenny, listen, we all know he's a top quality goalkeeper. He's not played as much football as he would have wanted to over the last couple of years. And again, this season's been down to injury a lot, that he's not been able to challenge for as much game time as he wanted with Hearts. But listen, you just look over his career. You look at the moments when he's had to step in and not played a lot of football, and he can still produce big moments. He can still, again, give that confidence to the team. And I think that's key, that the goalkeeper is breeding confidence right from the back, throughout the team, from the start. And I just think Steve Clarke will look at his experience. He's 43 years old, which is just incredible. But again, some of the saves you've seen this season, that one at Dundee was just incredible for Hearts. So we all know he's got it in his locker. I think his strengths are using his experience. He's a big physical presence. He'll come and take pressure off the defence when he needs to. But he's also got them big moments where he makes huge saves.
Your assessment then of Angus Gunn?
Yeah, Angus Gunn. I like Angus Gunn as a goalkeeper. I think he's grown into the Scotland jersey. I think there was a lot of question marks when he first came in. There was a lot of doubters out there. I think he's been solid when he's came in. Again, you look at the recent game that he played. He was steady in everything he's done. I think him being in the squad for so long now, he feels comfortable there. Again, he's a good shot stopper. I still feel as if Craig Gordon's got that bigger moment in him that he can make a world-class save. So, yeah, I still think he's a really good option for Scotland, and I think he's in a good place at this moment of time as well.
And Liam Kelly would accept Cammy very much the third choice keeper, but plenty to offer from him as well, if required.
Oh, 100%. Liam's a good goalkeeper, listen, and I think what he does bring is he's an excellent character in the squad, and I think Steve Clarke absolutely values that from Liam. So, but again, looking at his goalkeeping ability, he's a good shot stopper. He's maybe not got the presence of the other two between Craig Gordon and Angus Gunn, but he's certainly a good goalkeeper. He's had that exposure at Rangers as well, big game experience if he was to be called upon.
John, what changes have you seen from a coaching perspective in recent years in terms of the skill set required of a top keeper?
I think Cammy will know a lot of it's down to your kicking ability. But I've said this quite a lot of times with Rangers. I think Jack Butland, Liam Kelly, I think Jack Butland's a natural physique-wise profile if you would want of a goalkeeper. He has got more presence. He's 6'4". Liam Kelly, unfortunately, is 5'10", 5'11". But I think the kicking element of Liam Kelly for a team like Rangers, I think Liam's better with the ball at his feet than Jack is. I think Jack Butland has the ability with his feet, but I think that's becoming a lot of onus on teams because you're now creating goalkeepers where your first and second choice goalkeeper, there's not a huge lot between them. You've seen that with Celtic. Celtic improved when they brought in their second goalkeeper, who I felt was actually better with his feet than Casper was before. So I think there's a lot of elements in that where you're getting good shot stopping, you're getting good claims in the air, you're getting good sweeper keepers. But it's now becoming for those big teams, how good are you with the ball at your feet? Can you come out? Seen Jordan Pickford yesterday for England. He was never closer than 40 yards for his own goal when England had the ball. So that changes a lot of what you're looking for in your goalkeeper.
What's your experience, Cammy? Did you believe that you could change a manager's mind, say, in a week of training, or do you think this decision would mainly be formed on experience and past performances?
I think certainly looking at Steve Clarke, I think he would have certainly had a real idea of who he expected to be his goalkeeper. Listen, see if one of the goalkeepers turned up and they didn't look sharp, they looked as if they were out of form or just didn't look at it, then that might slightly change his mind. But I certainly think that Steve Clarke will have went into this camp knowing who's going to be his number one. And again, once they're the number one, they've got to go and produce on the pitch. They've got to perform on the day, and that's up to whoever gets the nod from Steve Clarke. I think he's got some good options. Yes, he would have liked both of his goalkeepers, probably Angus and Craig Gordon, to play a lot more football this season. They've not played much, but as I say, when I touch on Craig Gordon, you use his experience, you use all the years of goalkeeping, all the domestic and international games that he's played. You allow that experience to get you through these games.
Would the central defensive options, John, do you think be a factor at all in terms of when Steve Clarke is choosing who his keeper is?
I'm not so sure because I don't think any of our keepers are really going to do that sweeper keeper, even if we're high line. It's going to be a lot of keepers that want to stay in their goal, protect their goal, defend their goal. So I don't think that will change, even whether it's a 3 or a 2 at the centre halves. I think we've got deficiencies in those areas, but I don't think that's going to dictate what goalie we choose off the back of that.
So call it a hunch, Cammy. I guess you're going to give the nod to Craig Gordon.
Yeah, I've always said it, Kenny. I think Steve Clarke will go with Craig Gordon purely on his experience, and again, from what we've seen when he's had to step in them big moments, when he's not had a lot of game time in this similar situation. Yes, it's not a World Cup, there's not that pressures of it, but that's why I think he will go with Craig Gordon, is because this is a huge moment for the country. This is a high-pressure environment that he's going to go into. So you need somebody who's calm and got all that years of experience, and I think he'll stick with Craig Gordon.
It's interesting, Cammy, because I don't know what your injury record is like, but I don't know if you've seen the new Icons programme on Craig Gordon. It's flying the wall, absolutely fantastic. And you could see his pain as he went through injury after injury. And I just watched Aaron Hickey speaking yesterday. I think you could still see he was a bit emotional about how tough it was for the footballer. These are dark days, aren't they, that Craig Gordon has come through to get to this point?
Yeah, really dark days. Actually got a period when Craig came in, when he done his knee, and he'd actually sort of retired, if you want to call it that, and dropped out, and he came into Rangers and trained with us. He worked for 6 months with the physio there, and then he actually got back fit. So I had a real good relationship with Craig at that point. I'd been in squads with him. So I seen him go through that difficult time, and it's hard to watch such a talented goalkeeper and a guy who's so determined and a brilliant personality of a person as well, a great human being, go through such dark days. But again, this is why he went through them. This is why he's came out the light at the end of the tunnel, if you want to call it that. He's worked ever so hard, and he fully deserves this opportunity. 43-year-old, he could have easily have given up years ago, and he didn't. He's so determined, and he's a brilliant goalkeeper, but also a great person. So I really do hope that Craig gets the nod, because I think he fully deserves it. And for me, I think he's the best choice for us as well.
Yeah, if you've not seen it, Icons of Football, latest series from BBC Scotland, Finding the iPlayer. It's an extended version, episode 6 on Craig Gordon. It's a really terrific insight into what he's gone through, and it gives you a real feeling of the type of character he is. Just before we move on briefly, Cammy, your favourite keeper of all time?
Oh, wow. When I was a kid, it was probably Peter Schmeichel. I've loved Peter Schmeichel as a goalkeeper. I was a little bit of a Man United fan, and just how much his presence, and he had that big spread as well, which made so many saves for him. So he was probably one that I certainly looked up to. And another one obviously was Andy Gorham. I loved Andy Gorham when I was a kid. He was just unbelievable, shot stopping, just incredible. So yeah, them two are right up there for me.
John, we were reminiscing on yesterday's podcast. Tony Dock was on. He was going back to 1978 and that Archie Gemmell goal, being called in by his dad as a young boy to watch that. Now, it's a stretch, but as a young boy, I had 2 glorious weeks as Mario Kempes back then in the summer of 78. 82 actually moved on to Dino Zoff. He was another guy I thought was amazing. Who was the one for you, John, or what was the finals for you that really shined, that really cut through for you?
It was France 98. That was the first one that I fully remember sitting down. My brother's 6 years older than me. He was like, "You're going to watch every game. We'll watch every game. We'll go through it all." And I think that was the one. R9 Ronaldo, the R9 boots everyone had in the park. I think that was the one for me that stood out. That was exciting. That I started to realise who footballers were, what they did, and just got really excited. So I think 98 was probably definitely the first World Cup that I watched every game of, and started seeing heroes that were going to be the players I watched for the next 10 years.
Right, we'll find out in the next couple of weeks who will be the Scotland heroes, of course, over in the States. Everything gets underway tonight. We kick off the early hours of Sunday morning against Haiti. John, you've been doing your homework, so give us a lowdown. What can you tell us?
Haiti, 4-2-3-1. They are quite direct getting the ball into the opposition's half, but when they do, they're quite tricky up front. The front four kind of cheat, so whenever they're defending, they'll be quite happy to defend with their back four and their 2 defensive midfielders, and they'll try and let Scotland come onto them. They'll try and let Andy Robertson get high. The minute they turn that ball over, it's going out to their right winger, and they're going to try and counter-attack. You've seen loads of that in the New Zealand friendly, where I think they actually surprised a few people. And then you see New Zealand against England, which helps you contextualise a little bit what you're actually seeing, because I think when Haiti beat New Zealand 4-0, it was easy to go, New Zealand are terrible as well. That's obviously what's happened here. But New Zealand looked a lot more dogged, a lot more structured, a lot more disciplined against England, and it looked hard to break down. But very much a transitional team. They will try and play off the counter of Scotland. I think that's where my fears come from. If Scotland are a bit more gung-ho and got that attitude of this needs to be won right now, we need to win this comfortably. Whereas I'm now probably starting to panic a little bit and go, we just need to win. We just need to win this one. So yeah, very much a transitional side. Loads of pace. Isidore, Bellegrade, Lucius, super quick. It doesn't matter the quality of them. Maybe get slight deficiencies technically, but full speed footballers, elite level pace. So if we're caught out at any point, you've seen with the Curaçao goal, even on that kind of transition goal, we do lack pace when we're going back the way in the defensive area and the defensive midfield area. That would be my only concern of Haiti. But I think it's definitely a game we can win, but we need to be as close to perfect as possible.
Would you say they're a physical side, John? When I was covering this Curaçao game, of course, they'd just played Haiti, and Chris McLaughlin, we were on there, Chris McLaughlin was downstairs and he messaged me, he said, look, just spoken to a Curaçao journalist, and he said, Haiti, if you think Curaçao are a big physical side, wait till you see Haiti. They've got a lot of presence in the park. Is that what you found?
Yeah, and quite a lot of pressure on the ball. So there'll be a lot of niggling fouls, a lot of breaking up play, because they will want their two defensive midfielders and their two fullbacks are eager to win the ball as early as possible because they know the front four are going to try and cheat. So they're quite aggressive when the ball's going to them because they want to try and turn it over as quick as possible before Scotland get good possession, get comfortable possession and get in their half, because their whole gimmick is get it back quickly, put pressure, turn it over, play in behind, get them turned. So you'll see a lot of fouls, a lot of broken up play. I wouldn't actually say they're a dirty side, but I would say they're very physical, a lot of niggling fouls, a lot of breaking up play.
Just expand on your use of the word cheat there, Johns. I hear a lot of the guys, Billy Dawes and co, saying that in sports. So just for anyone that hasn't heard that term before.
So I think probably if you look at Lucius, who's the right winger, that should start because he's very, very good, nice left foot. He'll probably be quite happy to let, if it's Christie off the left in a 4-4-2 and Robertson, he'll be quite happy to let the outside defensive midfielder pick up Robertson and the right back to go with the winger. So if they win it back, Lucius is already on the centre half. He's already behind Andy Robertson, so they can turn it over quickly. So they're allowed to maybe not defend or be as disciplined getting back as you would expect a team, because they know that's probably their best way out of this game, is getting the counter-attack quickly. So quite happy to defend. A lot of teams, Cammy will know, a lot of teams will do 8v6 defensive drills going towards one goal because they might have that process of, right, we don't want our wingers tracking the fullbacks. We want our wingers staying in the halfway line. So if we win it, we can go at them. So it's that kind of element of you might have your fullback 2v1 it sometimes defensively, but if they don't get the cross in, or even if they do, the goalkeeper can launch it straight to the right winger and you're attacking right away. That's so it's not lazy. It's kind of deliberate what they're doing. It's not the wingers aren't tracking back. They know it's their best route out.
Cammy, as a keeper, what is an opposition analysis meeting like for you?
Yeah, listen, again, it's very detailed. I think when you look at it, certainly Scotland squads previous, when I used to be in them, there's a lot of information gets put to you, and it's drip fed over a period of time. Scotland have been together for a long time, so they've been looking at Haiti for a number of weeks now, building up to this. So yeah, they'll fully know what they're going to face. There'll be a lot of detail in there. Again, what they'll probably speak about is that Haiti lost 2 goals at set pieces against Peru late on in that game. So is that where Scotland can exploit them? They are a powerful team. I think John touched on it there, that transition and that maybe allowing the winger players just to, as he mentioned, cheat a little bit. It's that first pass. If they can make that first pass, that transitional pass, then that's key for Haiti. But that's where Scotland need to be so switched on. And I think Steve Clarke will have looked at that, because when I've seen them, that is the biggest threat from them. The transitional play, the counter-attack, that they can go and hurt Scotland. And it's probably one of the positions where we are vulnerable. We're vulnerable on the counter-attack. So I think we need to play with a controlled style of play against Haiti, control the game. And as John says, we don't need to win it in the first 20, 30 minutes. It's over that 90-minute period, because we don't want to leave ourselves wide open. We've got to control this game, and I think we've got the quality on the pitch to win it.
If you were advising Steve Clarke in terms of formation and tactics, John, to give us the best opportunity to beat Haiti, what would you say?
I think the friendlies have put a bit of a spanner in the works. I think the Bolivia game especially changed my opinion a little bit. I very much felt that the 3-5-2 was the best way to go, because I felt anytime Haiti transitioned, it was in numbers of 4 and 5. And if you were in a back four, we've seen against Greece, I thought we looked, for 60 minutes, looked so wide open in that counter-attack moments. I felt even although it was a 4-2-3-1, the 4-4-2 press against Belarus, I thought Belarus passed through Scotland really, really easily in a kind of alarming rate. So I wanted the back 5 to kind of cover any runners going under. So if your wingers get the ball, you've maybe got a number 8 going underlapping that can drag out a centre-half away from that. And if you're in a back 4, that's then leaving a centre-forward 1v1 in the box for a good cross. And that's where they got a lot of their goals against New Zealand. So the New Zealand back 4 concerned me when I looked at the way we were setting up. So I still think the back 5 is the best route to success, because the season Kieran Tierney's had, it's the best goal contributions number he's had, it's the most assists he's had for 7 seasons now. I don't see a world, although I've already said I think the squad's brilliant, I don't see a world where you leave Kieran Tierney on the bench for a World Cup game that matters so much. And I think the only way you fit him in is going back to the back five that works. And I know people have said we wouldn't have tried the 4-4-2 if we weren't going to use it, but everyone in that squad knows the 5-3-2. They know how to play it. They know exactly what it is they're expected. I think the 4-4-2 was more of we need a different option if we need to chase games, we need to get goals. We've got 5 strikers to choose from. I would prefer the 3-5-2 for this game, just to make sure and protect against any emergencies at the back.
Yeah, that's a good point, Cammy, because I did the Curacao game, did the Bolivia game on Saturday night, and John's probably bang on here. No one is really talking about the change, going away from the 4-4-2 now, given what we've seen in these friendly games, and no one picked a side out with a formation out with a 4-4-2 from Willie Miller, Pat Nevin, Andy Halliday, Tom English, Rory Loy. These guys were involved in these games, and this sort of debate that John's brought up there about having to have Tierney and Robertson in the starting 11, that certainly in terms of the sports and pundits seems to have disappeared. Where are you in that?
Yeah, I think for me, I would like to see Kieran Tierney play. He's been excellent this season, as John mentioned. Listen, his goal contribution has been just incredible for Celtic. I think he's grown through the season as well. He's got fitter, he's got stronger, he's up to full match speed, so he's in a good place. So I think I would like to see him play. I'm with John that I would potentially go with that 3-5-2 and Kieran Tierney. I think it allows the flexibility. We know how good Kieran Tierney is going forward, but also the strengths of him defensively. If we are having to get back and they're trying to break us on that counter attack, I really do feel that the value of playing Kieran Tierney to get up and down that left hand side is going to be key. So yeah, listen, I don't know where we're going to be at. I just feel as if Steve Clarke's played about with a little bit of the formations, which you understand him doing, because he's got to be open to making sure that he makes the right decision on the day, and it's going to be a huge decision for him. But again, the flexibility with him trying these formations is the options of, if it's not going right, can we change things in game? And I think that allows Steve Clarke that option to do that.
Is that the only formation, John, the 3-5-2, that sees them both start again?
Yeah, I think I was big on, back in the day, I was big on trying Kieran Tierney as a left centre half and a back four. I remember a game up at Pataudry, a friendly against Netherlands. He actually played left centre half and a back four, and he was man of the match. But it was 2018. It's the only time I've seen that happen. I was big on that for a long time. But I think Kieran Tierney is the left centre half, because the way they underlap and overlap each other, you can get bogged down a little bit. I know I'm doing it right now with formations, but I think when you've got Tierney and Robertson kind of ends up playing as the left mid and Tierney as the left back. A lot of times it's more that back five when you don't have the ball that you're switched on to protect against different types of runs. So I think it's the 3-5-2 for me was always nice and fluid. I don't think it was ever as negative as people made out. I just thought it was because we had limited players. I think that the span on the works now is Ben Doak, because if you play the 3-5-2, do you have to then use Ben Doak as a second striker to get him in the team, because you maybe don't want to lose that threat that he's got, because I think we all agree he's the generational one that could do something from nothing in this game. Formations
aside, Cammy, is Lawrence Shankland a certain starter for you?
I hope so. Yeah, again, I think he's in right unbelievable form at this moment in time. He's obviously just moved club. He's had a brilliant season. He can't be in a better place, and again, he's firing on all cylinders for Scotland. So for me, he's got to play. I think you get the ball into the box to him, and I just see goals. That's what I see with Lawrence Shankland. I've always seen that with him. He brings a lot more than goals, but for me, it's key that we've got a striker who can get the ball in the back of the net. We might not get a huge amount of opportunities, and that's what's going to matter. If Lawrence Shankland gets 2 or 3 opportunities, make sure he hits the back of the net. He's got to start for me. That's the one I look at. I think he's in unbelievable form, so I really do hope Lawrence Shankland starts the game.
John, just before we get to our quick fire questions, just back to Haiti. Do you think there's a danger? And I put myself in this category here. I've been looking at the permutations for the percentages the third place teams, what it would take to get you through. The 3 points, then you're looking at the goal difference. Do you think, given their ranking 83, we're 42nd, and how impressive we have been, albeit Bolivia, I think we're very poor, it's fair to say. Do you think there's a danger here that we're expecting a comfortable victory against Haiti? It's all about goals now.
Yeah, I think the Bolivia game, I tried to say that yesterday on Twitter, but you always need to be careful what opinion you put out there. The Bolivia game was a bit of a red herring, but Bolivia lost 4-0 in America again last night against Algeria. Bolivia have only won one game in 27 outside of Bolivia. So Bolivia's altitude and sea level is what wins them most of the points in qualifying. And when you see them beat Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, it's because teams can't cope when they go to Bolivia. There's 6,000 feet above sea level. So I feel like that game's a bit of a red herring. They've conceded now 62 goals in 21 games outside of Bolivia. They take a lot of tankings when they play away. So that's one concern for me, is that's a bit of a red herring.
Right, well, let's hope we aren't complacent. I can't see that at all under Steve Clarke. And just finally, Cammy, before we move on to the quick fires, being out in Germany and the disappointment after that Hungary game, the regrets, I think we all had them. And Steve Clarke said he took a period of reflection, said he would look at things. I think there was a different approach when it got to the Nations League. The attitude, it's got to be a bit different this campaign. Has that a major finals? It's got to be more positive.
Yeah, I think Steve Clarke will have learned. Listen, he's a clever man. I worked for a short period with him at Kilmarnock, and he's a brilliant manager. I think he'll have learnt from his spells in Germany and what happened there. So yeah, I think he'll go into this with a positive mindset. He's got such a good squad at his disposal, and I really think he'll use it this time. So I do think there'll be a lot of learning from Germany, and hopefully we can start this tournament well.
And tell me the players see a different character than that doer beast that we see in the media. Tell me he's a bit different when he's in that dressing room and in the training ground. He must be.
He can still be doer, but listen, he can crack a smile as well. He's as I say, short period of time, but a brilliant manager and a really good guy.
Yeah, listen, he's done a great job. Let's hope he's got a big smile on his face around about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock on Sunday morning. Let's finish off then with our quick fire questions. So no messing about. Rapid answers here, not too long. Cammy, you kick us off. John, you follow. So, Cammy, let's start with how many points will Scotland get?
4.
Who will be our top goal scorer?
Lawrence Shankland.
Scott McTominay.
Who's winning the World Cup?
France.
Spain.
Dark horse?
Oh, Kenny, you threw on me in that one. I'll buy you a bit of time, right? Do you know I quite like, and it's probably a very dark horse, I quite like the Ivory Coast. I think there's a lot of good players there. Yep. Very dark horse. I'll take that one then, Kenny. Thanks for that.
John?
Japan or Senegal.
Right. And finally, which of the big guns will flop?
Brazil.
England.
Yes, that came up yesterday as well. You won't be surprised to hear, John. Listen, guys, thank you very much indeed. That's all we've got time for. Thank you to John Walker and to Cammy Bell. And thank you for listening. Remember, we're here with new episodes of the Scottish Football Podcast, bright and early every day. So to make sure you don't miss out, subscribe on BBC Sounds and have push notifications turned on your phone. We are nearly there. The greatest show in world sport kicks off tonight. Join us for more insight and more build-up tomorrow on the Scottish Football Podcast. All of us here, bye for now.
Sir Alex Ferguson is the most successful British manager of all time.
Nobody is above him or this football club.
So how did an apprentice toolmaker from Glasgow become one of the most iconic figures in sporting history?
His strength of character, his determination, the fight in him.
He can be persuasive, he can be charming, he can be frightening.
I'm Kelly Cates, and this is Sporting Giants Sir Alex Ferguson.
I didn't want to feel, I couldn't feel.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
They asked us to do a prediction on the phone for the World Cup, and my prediction was Scotland would get to the quarterfinals. Have you got kids?
Yeah, a little man.
Born in England?
Aye.
So there you go, now he's got an English son.
I always see when people say that, I say that Jesus was born in a stable, but he's not a horse, is he?
I got drug tested in every qualifying game at Euro 2016. But what was happening is I was getting drug tested, and when I go in there, all the officials who were taking the test were pulling shirts out and asked me to sign them and stuff.
Oh my.
Okay, well, the World Cup is fast approaching. We've had quite a lot of England chat on this show. So let's turn our attention to Scotland a bit today. And when we've got a special guest to help us kind of look ahead to it, who's actually going to be playing.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming on, me. Ryan's come on. Great season with Bournemouth, and unfortunately his season's been cut short a little bit. But no, obviously, to get a Scotland player on, and it's massive for Scotland, obviously, qualifying for the World Cup. All the the last game and Scott McTominay's goal obviously was incredible. So it's great. I think it's great for British football as well to have Scotland there, and keeps it a different interest rather than just England.
Yeah, Ryan, Christie, thank you for coming on today. As Wayne said there, suspended for the end of the season. We're speaking to you just before the Premier League campaign has ended. I imagine you're already thinking about the World Cup, though. It must be so exciting.
When you first kind of qualify back in November, you almost have to kind of like park it to the back of your head a little bit, because there's so much.
How hard was that, though, given like how big that was for Scotland?
Yeah, I mean, it took me a couple of days to sober up first and foremost, and then it was back to work. Like you say, you get such a high of that game, and then you've got like the Premier League at the weekend. You just need to come right back down to earth pretty quick.
It is also exciting. Obviously, we're English. We're looking forward to how England are going to do. But I feel excited when there's another home nation in there. I know Scotland don't always feel the same about England, by the way, but it just feels exciting. Like I've got Scottish friends, and as Wayne said, it's good for British football, isn't it?
I was in at the Euros when Scotland were there, and I remember I was doing the punditry work, and I remember going into a bar and it was full of Scottish fans. And
what did they think of you being in there? Did they get excited?
No, yeah, it was brilliant. Obviously speaking to them all, and obviously I think they bring the Scottish fans bring something joyful, don't they, to the tournament, and obviously they're there, they're having fun, and
they're loud.
Might be a bit different in America with the travel and stuff, but it's great to have them there, because they bring like a energy, I think, to the tournament as well.
Where are you based?
We're here, there, and everywhere. We start in Florida for a bit, and then our base is North Carolina. Charlotte FC.
Charlotte, yeah. It's nice there.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
And then fly to Boston for the first two, and then Miami in the last one.
Oh wow!
It's wild,
not
isn't
the last
it?
one, the third one. I need to stop saying that.
That's against Brazil, though, isn't it? Miami against Brazil, isn't it?
Yeah.
What a fixture that is! You got to be looking forward to that. Brazil in Miami.
Got 2 more games before that, though.
I know, but like see when you're watching the draw, even though it was.
Did you fall asleep?
Possible to fall that.
Especially with real colour.
Yeah, but like, everyone was thinking like, do you want an easy group but I think you just want like iconic games.
Sure,
that's why I
yeah.
wanted to. Like you play Brazil. When I was growing up, that was like the international team.
Yeah.
My like memories of World Cup are like 2002 and stuff of them, just unbelievable. So yeah, it'll be a cool game to be part of.
To play Brazil in a World Cup, something, Brazil's the team everyone is, looks up to really, historically. So to play Brazil at a World Cup, how exciting was that? That must be incredible.
Yeah, it's the kind of dream fixture, if you like. Like you said, it's like the team everyone looks up to. It's just like synonymous with World Cup. So obviously buzzing for that. The kind of new generation of Brazilian players that are coming through now, in terms of the boys that are at Arsenal and like Vinny Jr. and players like this, who are just like lighting up football across the globe. You're desperate to test yourself against these, and then like obviously Ryan, who's at Bournemouth as well, who's been like unbelievable since he joined us for the age he is.
Yeah.
To come halfway across the world into like Premier League football and just take it in his stride. He's like a full on kind of man. I didn't look like that at 19. That's for sure. A little built like a side of a fiver, but yeah, he's been superb for us, and if he gets to go and represent his country after the 6 months he's had with us, it'd be incredible for him.
One of the first fixtures I remember at a World Cup was Scotland-Brazil at France 98. So, and I think was it 2-0 loss? But I reckon you guys have got a much better chance this time round.
Hope so. We've been kind of watching clips, obviously, with the last
Have you?
The World Cup. I've been watching. There's like a documentary that was made, so I've been watching clips, and that is cool looking back and stuff. Because like I said, I was 3 at the time, so I don't remember it, but my dad speaks about it all the time.
Well, that team had like Ronaldo and those. Up front now is a bit different, like for them. So you must fancy your chances.
He can't go on record as any fancies his chance against Brazil. You're stitching him up.
You can be confident about it. I'm sure you can be diplomatic. Confident.
Yeah, well, you got to be. You just got to try and take what you can from each game. We've been surprisingly good against the better teams in Europe over the last few years. I think we're a difficult team to play against, so we need to try and take our positives into that game. When you look at that like squad from Brazil '98, it's mental. We did a a bit actually a couple of weeks ago with like Scottish players that played in that game. And they were just like speaking about like the shirts they swapped, and like one of them had like Carlos and Cafu and that. I was like, oh my God, unreal. But yeah, it'll be a similar experience, I'm sure.
Have you earmarked a shirt to swap, or is that still done?
Nah, I'm not really. I always think going into the game, like, yeah, I'd love to swap a shirt, and then you either just forget, or like emotions high or low. Either you're celebrating and you forget, or you're fuming and you forget. So I've not done it for a while.
You must have had a lot of requests for shirt swapping, mustn't you?
Yeah, I never used to swap shirts or ask anyone. It was only when I had kids and kids asking you to swap shirts with people. But yeah, I was the same. I felt bad asking people, because normally if you beat them, I know how they feel, how I felt when we lose a game. And but yeah, I had a lot of people asking.
A lot of people are saying Scotland can get out of the group.
Yeah, that's got to be your ambition. I think a big thing for us is, it took us so long to qualify again for a World Cup, and no Scottish teams ever got out of a group stage at a World Cup. So we're absolutely desperate to be the first team and kind of take that extra step. You look at the weight we've had coming into this World Cup, and it was similar going into the Euros when it took us so long to qualify for that. There was a feeling of, just especially the first Euros, like, everything a bit brand new, not knowing what to expect. I think this time we've got a bit of a chip on our shoulder that we want to kind of do something at this tournament, especially after the last one in Germany. It was an incredible experience, but I do think a few of us left that thinking, what could have been, which is,
So do you think there's a pressure on you to do better now, or is it an expectation?
A pressure that we put on ourselves.
Okay.
I think we felt that pressure in the qualifying campaign because, naturally it was an aging group, and you think this is going to be our last chance to go to a World Cup. So, you naturally put it on yourself, but we like to think that we can, do well against the best teams.
I think as well. I think it was BBC for the match today, the end of the last year. They asked us to do a prediction on the phone for the World Cup, and my prediction was Scotland would get to the quarterfinals. And I think Scotland will do well. I really like the team, and I think Steve Clarke has done such an incredible job there. And I think what Scotland now have got is players, obviously, with Scott going out to Italy, and with that experience, I think they've got better players than what they've had over the last 10 years. And it's come together as a group, and they're hard to play against Scotland. The only thing which I think might hold Scotland back, and England as well, I think, is the heat out there, the humidity and the altitude is obviously playing out there. It's so difficult.
Is it?
Yeah, it's actually not playing.
Look at the fear in his eyes that you're putting in him.
It's not actually the playing. It's the recovery.
Right.
It takes a little bit longer to recover, so it's just getting used to it. So I think going out there a little bit earlier will help to acclimatise to it, because it's so different.
When you say the recovery, what about the recovery is hard?
So when you're playing, it's not that bad. In the altitude, you're breathing a little bit different, but when you're playing, it's not that bad. But normally, when you're recovering after a couple of days, you're okay.
Yeah,
it's probably an extra day to recover from it. Yeah, because it just takes out you, and you feel a bit tired, and it's mad. It's a bit just different.
Has there been a change? Not a change in mentality, but given the fact that you've been at the last couple of Euros, is there a bit of a? I suppose Wayne said it as well, like having players like Scott McTominay have gone on to do what they do. You've got likes of Andy Robertson. I don't want to list them all because I'll miss off the players that have kind of won trophies. But has there been a bit of a change of mentality, would you say, with Scotland?
Over the years, yeah. Probably since Steve Clarke came in, and it kind of coincided with Andy becoming the captain. And just because of the level he plays at, I think he just knows what it takes to be elite, and what needed to be changed around the kind of national setup. He's done that incredibly well, and then thankfully this kind of generation, as we've spoken about, like Scotty going out to Italy, Billy Gilmore the same, the few younger boys playing in Italy, other players playing at a good level in England, is something that we didn't really have like 10, 20 years ago. So it's it's so cool to see, and it just helps kind of mentally. If you're playing against these big nations and you're used to playing against these players week in, week out, it just kills that kind of fear factor or anything like that. You feel a lot more belief in yourself that you can compete against them.
Scott McTominay is someone we haven't really spoken about too much this season, Wayne? But obviously he's someone that you've got a vested interest in, and I'm sure you've been impressed by what he's done.
Yeah, he's been incredible. I remember him come through the academy at Man United, and it was mad because there was this. He was small. He was a small lad, and then over the space of a year, he just went massive. And then I think what Scott is, he's a. I couldn't believe Man United let him go when he did, because he's obviously he works extremely hard, and at the time they let him go, he was actually one of the players who you wanted on the pitch every week, because you felt like players weren't working or weren't giving the best, and he was impactful. He was playing in a more advanced role from midfield, and he was scoring important goals. And when Man United let him go, I was thinking, wow, what's going on here? But you'd love to have him back at Man United now. But I think what he's going to bring, obviously going out to Italy, winning the Player of the Year over there. Now he's experienced something incredible, which as you spoke about, Andy Robertson, you've got now a few players who are playing at that top level yourself now at Bournemouth. Got players playing at an unbelievable level, which will filter down into the rest of the squad. You're going to have some players, I'd assume, from the Championship and from playing in Scotland as well, who it's on you guys then to raise them standards and get them players up to speed for the World Cup.
What is Scott like as a teammate?
Ultimate professional that I've seen. I think when he was first coming through at Man U and he first came into the international setup, you could tell straight away, like, we probably caught him at the end of that growth spurt where it was like he was just coming into himself a bit and like properly throwing himself about in training. The difference I've noticed the last few years, especially since he's gone to Napoli, in terms of like his diet, gym work, he's just like an absolute athlete. I think he's wanting to find every kind of 1% in his game. And like Wayne said, this is like an inspiration naturally watching that in front of you. And then he goes back to Napoli and wins the league with them, and you see like it pay off with the work he's putting in. So yeah, it's a credit to himself of how he's kind of progressed on since leaving Man United. Obviously, he's a massive play for us now too.
Is he one of the leaders in that group?
He's probably quieter, I'd say. He leads by, example in terms of, I think we will look to him to change the game. Obviously, what happened in the Denmark is the perfect scenario. You go into these games and, you think there's probably going to need to be a moment of magic. We had 3 in that game, luckily enough, but obviously the Scotty red kick's just completely ridiculous. I don't think there's many other people on the pitch that can do that. So, a special player to have in your team.
Steve Clarke, you've mentioned him already, the fact that when he came in, things started to change. What is he like to be managed by?
He's brilliant. I can't really speak highly enough. He's just completely changed the setup from when I came in. The feeling of it all. When I first joined like international football, I know I was a bit younger and probably a bit quieter, but like I was like counting down the days until I could go back home. And it's the polar opposite now.
Why was it?
Why? I don't know. It was a kind of transition period, so there was kind of like an older generation of players that were coming to the end. There was new ones. We didn't really have a manager in place. My first camp was an interim manager, Malcolm Mackay, so it was all a bit up in the air, and you didn't really just feel gelled at all as a squad. Whereas now it's just like the polar opposite. I mean, if we're meeting up on like a Monday, everyone flies up the Saturday night to spend like an extra day with each other and stuff. It's nice. It's brilliant. I've obviously played against these guys since like the youth in Scotland, like John McGinn and Andy. So, like a decade on the journey we've kind of been on now to go to a World Cup is pretty cool. But you just become mates. Like you just meeting up with your mates every couple of months and get to play football on the side of it. It's class.
But how does he do that? How do you change a kind of culture? Because it's something that's been spoken about a lot with England over recent years, and maybe you can. I think you always enjoyed going and playing for England, didn't you? But there was a time when maybe some didn't.
I'd never pulled out, obviously, unless I couldn't play. I was injured, but I love meeting up with England, and I've seen players pull out of England as well with injuries, and they're under pressure from the managers if they're playing Champions League and stuff. But Fergie used to try and get me to play 45 minutes in friendly games and stuff, and so I'd be like, yeah. And then I'd get to England, I'd be like, yeah, can I play? I want to play 90 minutes. I love playing, but I suppose winning games of football is probably the biggest thing, because no one likes losing, and when you're losing, everyone's looking for why you're losing, and then you get frictions, and that happens, I suppose, everywhere. So I think winning games of football, but then I think around the place, if you can change the culture, make the lads want to be rounded, and then, but for me, the biggest thing is having leaders in there who who create an atmosphere around the whole camp, which you enjoy, you want to be around, you want to spend time there, and that's the biggest thing for me. If you don't have that, and then there's little groups or little splits of groups around the place, then it becomes like you end up back in your room and you're watching series all day and stuff like that, and I don't think that's healthy for anyone. Just creating an environment with the staff as well. The staff are so important.
Yeah.
In that, how many times you go and sit around in the physio massage room or something, and lads are having banter and stuff like that, because you need to fill that time. And I think when you do that in a positive way, then people want to be there.
How did he change the culture then? Did he do any kind of specific team bonding things? I know, like with England, with Gareth Southgate, they brought in the psychologist. Was there anything that he did to try and get you guys to be friends? I guess you can't force people to be friends, but maybe to make an environment where everyone felt better.
Yeah, probably a few different aspects. I think he puts a big amount of trust in us in terms of if we have a day off, or if we get to go and play golf or something. There's a full trust that we're not going to take advantage of that or anything like that. And then over the years, it's just been like a loyalty thing in terms of he's managed to keep a real good core of players. Obviously, naturally, it helps that we've been successful along with that. So, it makes him easier to do that. But, when it's constantly chopping and changing, it's probably a lot harder to get that rhythm. Whereas, like I said, the boys that are all going to the World Cup now, it's been a journey of like 5, 6, 7 years for some of us all together. So, along with the manager, and yeah, listen, for me, he's got to go down as one of the greatest Scottish managers of all time.
He comes across in the press, and I've interviewed him, as very serious and very. I'd be scared of him, I think, if I was a player. Does he have that side to him?
I've not seen him lose the head too many times.
Okay. By the way, I meant that in the most respectful way,
Yeah.
like in a good way. Like you feel like when he walks into an interview room, you're like, oh, you've got that aura about you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. He's actually very good at, I think, keeping his emotions parked, especially like at half times. I think in one of our games in the qualifying, I saw him going nuts. Thankfully, I was suspended for that. I wasn't on the receiving end of it, but I think that was the only time I've seen him properly lose the head at half time. Normally, it's very kind of tactical driven, showing us kind of clips in our little 15 minutes and stuff, or before games. I think after the Denmark game was one of the times I've rarely seen him properly smile and enjoy himself a little bit, which was cool to see, because I think for us as players, naturally, we knew how much it would mean to him to tick that off his list.
Yeah, it does feel like it. He's like obviously Scottish, but like a proper Scot. It means so much to him. Like that's the pinnacle for him.
Yeah, I think he'd mentioned it a few times. He mentioned it before the game, how desperate he was to get the chance to represent his country as a manager at a World Cup. And the way that kind of qualifying group went, all going down to the last game against Denmark, it was. I mean, it's easy to say now that we went through, but it felt like it was kind of written in the stars for it to go like that. And yeah, obviously buzzing for us that we got to do that.
You think that back-to-back tournaments for Scotland, which is rare, isn't it, really? And then you said before about trying to be the first Scottish team to go out the group of the World Cup. When you think of the players like Dalglish, Souness, Archie Gemmill, some of these great players that Scotland have, so that must feel. I was just thinking about them while you're talking. For you to be able to do that and eclipse some of these great players that Scotland have, that must be a massive, drive for you to try and eclipse that.
Yeah, like those players you mentioned there, and you still like see them around Hampden and stuff. And when we're playing, it's like, they are the Mount Rushmore of Scottish football, and you look up to these. So the thought of kind of surpassing them, obviously they kind of laid the grounds for Scottish football. We had a bit of a disconnect, like you said, which was when I was growing up. I didn't get to watch like Scotland play at Euros or World Cup, so it was just always us falling short. So yeah, it's hard to obviously put yourself in the same bracket as them, but fingers crossed we can go and match or do better, like you said, than these guys.
Have you got loads of family and stuff coming out?
Yeah, I'm from Inverness. I think I've got half the city flying over.
You know what? I'm trying to say this in a nice way. That's probably one of the worst things about it, because the amount of people up for tickets, and you just like try and get them done early. Because the amount of people going off for tickets and organising tickets for everyone, it's one of the worst things about it.
Don't tell him that. He's going to be cancelling all his family's flights out there. How many are we talking?
Not actually too many family. 10 family, but I've got a fair few mates that are headed out and trying to wangle their way in for a ticket. So I think I need to get the bingo balls out for who's getting a ticket.
Yeah, it must be tough, because I imagine for all of the Scotland squad, there's going to be a lot of family heading out. It's such a monumental moment. There's going to ticket. Who sorted the tickets for England? How did that work?
Yeah, you just have a lady who do it from the FA, but obviously you've got people texting you constantly for tickets and trying to organise it. And then I got to a point where I'd like say to Colleen, you get in touch with them and sort it, because I didn't want to do it. It was
so you need to assign someone to sort out your tickets on your behalf.
That'll be the plan for sure.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you a bit about the unofficial Scotland anthem, which is that "Yes Sir, is that what it's called? Yes Sir, You Can Boogie." Yeah. How did that become the anthem?
When we qualified for the first Euros in Serbia, we were obviously, I wasn't even there. I had to do drug testing after that game, so I just got escorted to a random room. I was fuming, but all the boys were buzzing.
It's such a...
But Wayne's got a few stories of that happening to him too.
I smashed it against Wales when we beat Wales at Euro 2016. I smashed the room up. The three qualifying games I got done. I got drug tested in every qualifying game at Euro 2016.
Is it random?
Well, they say it's random, but what was happening is I was getting drug tested, and when I go in there, all the officials who were taking the test were pulling shirts out and asked me to sign them and stuff.
Oh my!
So I was fuming. So I was like, it's meant to be random. So I was saying, well, I'm getting brought in so they can.
I know.
So we played Wales, and then Ramsey and other lads were in there, and then me and I can't remember the England players with. I've smashed the roof. I've got a big fan and stuff for it, but.
Don't do that, Ryan.
Yeah, but I was fuming, but you miss, and then Champions League final when we won it, then Van der Sar got took away and missed out on all the celebrations and the dressing room. So I think these need to be a bit understand the situation and let you be with your team as well, especially on big moments.
Who knew that me asking about a Scotland anthem would lead
got
to?
Me going now.
Yeah, sorry. Any other instance you want to mention?
No.
Nope.
So you were in the drug testing room, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, going back to where you were, and, not smashing up the room.
Kieran Tierney's like the team DJ. He's always on the speaker, and he's just put that song on for some reason. And there was like a few videos of us in the change room to this song, like bouncing about, that have gone viral, and it just kind of took off from there, to be honest.
But you kind of like adopted it. Like if I hear it now, I just think of Scotland.
I know, it's bizarre. Whoever wrote that song, I don't even know who it is, but. She's due us a few pints, no? For making her.
It's like the girl who done the Jet 2 one. She must be buzzing.
I know.
Picked
up again.
Why did you bring the Jet 2 girl up?
No, because I was thinking about that the other week actually, and that song's like all over the place. And
I don't think Jess Glynn would get a mention on this podcast.
So yeah, there we go. Yeah. There's World Cup songs still a thing. Did you have them during your? There was like anthems, wasn't there?
It's still three.
It's just 3 lines.
3 lines.
They used to do like FA Cup songs as well, which I used to love. Like when I was growing up, you'd have like
FA Cup songs, did they?
Yeah, FA Cup final songs. Yeah,
FA Cup final songs. So when they get to a final, they.
So Everton done in '95 all together now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah,
showing my age there.
Well, I think I'm just a bit ignorant sometimes.
Yeah, they used to do. Yeah, you see the Liverpool ones and then. They all used to do it.
Yeah. So, but do they still do? Do you have an actual anthem to Scotland, or have you just adopted that one?
What, a national anthem?
No, I know that from national anthem. No, I also know that 3 lines isn't our national anthem. Just to clarify.
No, I don't think so. Don't think we've got an actual like song that somebody's wrote for us going out. I think we had one at one of the Euros a couple of years ago, but nothing yet.
Okay. Yes.
It is mad though. It is like a lot of the teams do like Adele songs and stuff like that. After games, that I'm like,
Burnley did Natasha Bedingfield. Did you see that?
And then who's on there?
Burnley. When they went up, it was Natasha Bedingfield.
Yeah, she was in the change.
Yeah.
It was like Steve Bunton was there, the Coventry the other day, weren't he? And at first I was like, how's he a Coventry fan? Why is he a Coventry fan?
Just jumping on about.
There's a lot of people that have become Coventry fans over the last 6 weeks.
Are you going to mention?
No, I'm not mentioning names, but there's been a lot of people that.
We're really digressing here. I was starting the anthem chat to try and find out a little bit more about the dressing room. You mentioned Kieran Tierney there is the DJ.
Yeah.
Who's the biggest kind of joker in the Scotland dressing room?
John McGinn by a mile.
I should have thought of that actually.
Yeah, he's just non-stop. He's brilliant, to be fair, because like if you're like a new boy coming in or a young boy, all the best for McGinn. He's just straight on your case. But he's quality, yeah. Every dinner time, everything, like court cases and stuff. If somebody's done something wrong, he's always leading
court cases.
Yeah, we've had a few of them. Boys are getting like haircuts in camp and not offering out haircuts to everyone else who's needing a haircut. That's a bad one.
Did that ever happen to you? Or anything like that?
Get me a haircut every 5 days.
No, you bicked it, didn't you?
No, I'm not as stylish as some. But when I was in the England squad, some of the players were every few days. I think Ross Barkley on holiday is the same barber as me. And I think it was every day.
Took his barber on holiday?
Yeah.
That's a serious practical question, though. What do you do about haircuts when you're at a World Cup?
I don't think I'm really too bothered about my haircut.
Everyone's laughing, but I'm sorry, but you're on TV every few days.
So with England anyway,
Serious question.
The lads will fly the barbers over.
No.
Did you fly yours?
No, Ross flew him, so I saved a bit of money.
What are your plans with that, Ryan? Serious
I'm
questions here. I ask the hard-hitting journalism questions.
Andy Robertson normally sorts somebody to come out and we'll have an afternoon, everyone just gets a haircut.
Okay.
Do you ever remember the Romania team where it was one World Cup where they came out and all of them had dyed their hair blonde? Yeah, that was one of my favourite World Cup. They all came out blonde and the commentators were having a hard time trying to identify every player.
Were you the John McGinn in terms of being the joker of the England dressing room, do you reckon?
No, we used to, it was the same in dressing rooms, just hold court cases and stuff.
Was it
stuff like that? No, I couldn't be bothered doing all that. I think James Milner actually was quite big into that and doing that. But I was with John McGinn in Ibiza last year.
Oh my gosh.
Spent a day with him, yeah.
That's a combo, isn't it?
And Jack Grealish. We spent it. It was a good day.
Wayne, how much of it can you remember?
All of it. Well, I'm telling you guys. But it was a good day. And, but I think again with John McGinn, you know, seeing him at Villa in the Championship and then coming to a Villa and all the changes of Villa which they've made, I think he's a real inspiration. That's what I was saying before about the players Scotland have got. They've got some players who've been through a journey yourself. You know, Scott's gone on his journey now, and so they've got inspirational players for the younger players who are in that squad to look at and say, do you know what? And them lads who are in Championship can look at yourself and John McGinn and say, do you know what? You know, these lads were playing in the Championship not so long ago, and now John's been in the Champions League. He's in a European Cup final. You know, Ryan's on the verge of getting Champions League. So these usually inspirational to these players. So I think that's where Scotland has changed over the last few years, and that's why I think they'll do well in this World Cup.
Does it feel weird hearing Wayne say that? I've got friends at Sport Scotland, they never want England to do well. And is it weird that you want Scotland to do well, don't you? I do.
Yeah, I'm not. Listen, I've got friends who are Scottish. You know, for me, it doesn't bother me really. I'd rather them do well.
Ryan's keeping very quiet on this topic.
No, I used to be bad for it when I was younger. I would celebrate whoever was playing England, but like when you get older, and especially being in football, and then you like Wayne says, you like all of a sudden you know people who are playing for that team, or obviously living down in England now as well.
Have you got kids?
Yeah, little man.
Born in England.
Aye.
So there you go. Now he's got an English son.
What's his mum English or Scottish?
His mum's Scottish.
Oh, okay.
I always see when people say that, I say that Jesus was born in a stable, but he's not a horse, is he?
Very good, very good.
I have it with Fletcher. I have Fletcher all the time. I always want to do it because there's 2 lads who are born in England.
But you're very proud Scouse.
Yeah.
Your kids don't live in Liverpool. So would you say that are your kids still Scouse?
Do born in Liverpool.
Oh, okay, all right. I thought I'd get you there, but I didn't. They're Scouse, aren't they?
So no, that was the one thing. Obviously, we knew he was going to get brought up in Cheshire, but made sure they were all born in Liverpool.
Have they got Liverpool accents? No. Oh, does that hurt?
Yeah. Move on.
Going back to your teammates and away from Wayne's kids. Who's the? I don't write all of these questions. I'd like to point out. Who's the most intelligent? Wayne, if you want to say your most intelligent England teammate, well, I'm asking Ryan what he thinks if you want.
Man, I'll tell you it wasn't.
Even better.
Most intelligent? I don't know, actually.
Lamps?
I don't know, because obviously he done well in school, but football's a different...
Sure.
Of course, he's intelligent, very intelligent lad on the pitch. He read the game really well, but I wouldn't... David James always thought he was intelligent, but he wasn't.
Why are you just going to get himself in trouble the longer he thinks about this?
To be honest, probably Guy Neville, most intelligent player.
He'll love that answer as well.
Player to play with. Yeah.
Ryan?
I'll go either Kenny McLean or Grant Hanley. I think that just comes with age, doesn't it?
So basically, just pick the oldest players.
Yeah. Just gone with life experience. I think.
Toughest player. Who do you want beside you if it kicks off?
I'd go Lewis Ferguson.
Okay.
Yeah, he's I've played in midfield with him a couple of times. I like playing with him because I think he's going to be flying into tackles right beside me, which I quite like. I've played against him as well when he was younger, and he was just coming through when I was at Celtic, and I didn't like playing against him. Like throw-ins, like nipping me, and I thought, who is this little player? So it's good when he's on your side.
I reckon your England teammates might have said you for that question.
Yeah, well, we had a big, I can't go into too much detail of it, but we had a big scrap in the tunnel of Turkey away.
I hate it when you start a story with that.
I
You can't go into it much. He does this a lot.
I was 17. It was when Bex missed the penalty and there was a big scrap at half time. Whatever, but yeah, if it's going off, then I think you're going to be in there.
Did you get involved?
His heat map would have been crazy.
I think
hey, try and get it out of him.
I think me and Big Emil were right in there. Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, Emil Heskey you'd want alongside you as well, wouldn't you? Okay, not going to give us any more on that, are you? Nope. Loudest.
John McGinn. Again, or who else? Liam Kelly.
Okay.
One of the goalies. He's a funny boy. But yeah, McGinn. Honestly, I cannot, he is non-stop. I've never ever heard him be quiet for more than 2 minutes.
Sometimes that's tiring as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
I actually sometimes when you after dinner, you'll go back to your room. I think, what's he doing? Because I cannot picture him just lying on his bed doing nothing. You just must be pacing up and down his room or something.
Is he married? Has he got kids?
No.
Oh.
That's probably why.
Do you know what? I was similar, but it was when I was younger. I was like that. I couldn't sit in my room and I was just bouncing around the whole place. I was in the massage room tormenting the lads who were getting massages. But then when I got a little bit older, I chilled out a little bit.
You've got 4 kids now. It's a bit different than that.
It's I get to sleep.
Who was the loudest in your England dressing room?
Probably me at that time. And then,
what about most fashionable?
You know what? Big Scotty, since he's moved to Italy, is.
I was going to say
the hair out, the tan.
Has he changed?
Has he changed? No, but we winded up saying that he's definitely changed. Yeah,
he's definitely bought into the culture, hasn't he?
Yeah,
you have to, don't you? If you go over there and do that, that's what makes it so impressive. His move and everything. I think.
Yeah,
it must have been Bex when you were playing, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's obviously not always everyone's cup of tea. His style. So when we went to Euro 2004 again, Bex got involved with Armani and. Was part of the shoot which we were wearing. So imagine I'm 18, getting suited up for this Armani shoot, and it was big flares. I remember stood there thinking, what is going on here? Come on, just give us a normal suit. And honestly, there was these big flares. I've still got the suit in the house, and these big flares at the bottom. And I'm just thinking, I've just come out of the streets of Crocky in Liverpool. What are you doing? It's not even like a suit I could finish the tournament and go and give it to one of my mates or something. There's no one to go near it.
Have you had a suit fitting for this summer yet, or anything that you got to wear?
Yeah, it's kind of this modern t-shirt suit kind of thing.
Oh yeah, people don't wear the full blazer. It's all a bit more cool and edgy now.
There was talk of kilts for a bit, and then the whole heat thing. You kind of turn up in a woolen kilt, can you?
Yeah, but surely it's
lose about
better
2K
ventilation.
in sweat before we even kicked off. That got.
I still like the full suits. I was watching the Man United youth final yesterday. My lad was injured, but he went with the team, and he's dressed. They're all dressed up in suit, shirt, tie, and I still think there's something about that which is really professional, and especially we used to do it with Man United, and when we play away, we'd wear the suit and tie and Alex Ferguson used to say to us that when you go into someone else's stadium, you want to leave a good impression. And so I think it's gone away from that, but I used to really like
especially for cup finals. Any team I see that doesn't wear a suit, I just hope they get battered.
But I think Chelsea was always big on when you play Chelsea away and the players weren't playing, they're all in their own clothes, sat behind the dugout, and I just think it didn't leave a good impression. Where you see Man United and they're all in the suits, and I still think I would like it to go back to them.
I think Scotland should wear the kilts. I think that'd be a great look.
I do.
It's a lot. A kilt is a lot of work. I got married last year, obviously in a kilt, and I got blessed with some nice weather, but me and all my guests were like that.
Things you don't think of when you don't have to wear a kilt, I guess. Are Scottish players still underrated in the Premier League? Or should I ask, do you want to answer that first? Because I don't think they are anymore.
No, I think you get judged on performance. I think with Ryan, with John McGinn, they're rightly so getting the plaudits they deserve. And I think to just go back on that question is, are they getting the opportunity? I think that's more a question than are they underrated, because I think, and go back to what I was saying before, with what Ryan and John are doing, mainly I think them two, and Scott obviously, is they're maybe making people look at Scottish players a bit more than Kieran Tierney, obviously coming over and didn't work out for him at Arsenal, but I think people are looking at Scottish players a bit more now, and where I think before maybe it had the era of these Daglies, the Souness and stuff, but then it's maybe coming back into now where people looking at Scottish players and saying, you know what, maybe let's stick with them or give them a chance more.
Do you feel that?
I probably agree with Wayne. I think it's definitely turning. I think one of the reasons, probably not just me, but McGinn and Andy, like boys have gone down to England.
Andy as well, I keep forgetting about.
Yeah, as like to have that little chip on your shoulder to like prove that we are good enough. It's certainly something that's kind of spurred me on since I've come down to England, that I want to prove that I'm good enough at this level. So it's maybe not a bad thing if we're underlooked. It keeps us kind of hungry to keep doing better.
Okay, well, and then on the summer, I know have you had a bit more time to think about it now your season has ended? Have you been able to process it and start to map out how it looks?
Yeah, a little bit. Naturally, just more like plans get made, and I think the squad gets announced pretty soon, and then it starts properly kind of ramping up. And yeah, obviously now that I'm not going to be playing football for a couple of weeks, you're always like looking to the next time you get to kick a ball about. So
it's not. I know you want to play, but it's not a bad thing as well, because it gives you that little break just to recharge as well.
Come August, you could have become a historic Scotland team. I was going to say you could have won the World Cup. I'm not saying you can't win the World Cup, but you never know.
I think you was saying that way. That's what it sounds like.
You could have made history with Scotland, was what I was meaning to say.
Yeah, it'd be special, like we've said, because of the kind of such a short journey that the club's been on from the Championship. We've just not really looked back. So, when I joined Bournemouth, obviously I was desperate for them to break into the Premier League and stay there. But to think where we've kind of come now is something I would have never dreamed of. So, a bit of history with Scotland would be pretty cool too.
You've also got an unreal training ground now, haven't you, as well?
Unbelievable.
I came down there. Have you seen Bournemouth's training ground? It's like up there with some of the best in the Premier League. It was opened last summer, wasn't it? I went down there. It's
incredible.
Like I worked at the club from 2012 to 2016 when League One to the Championship, and it's just like even when you joined in 2021 to see, I couldn't imagine that the journey it would have been on, but it feels like there isn't really a ceiling now, almost.
Yeah, that's where you see a lot of new owners go into clubs, and first and foremost they spend a lot of money on new players and big kind of transfer signings, but Bill Foley, to be fair to him, has just come in and you've seen like improvements from day one, just instantly, like straight away. It was the old training ground. He did as much as he could. Then like a couple of weeks later, there's like a spade in the ground for the new training ground. Wow. The stadium, they've just released plans that they're going to hopefully expand our stadium. So it's that kind of like active change you see as players, and you think, we're going somewhere as a club, and when it then pays off on the pitch as well, which it is, it's nice those two things kind of marry together.
The training ground makes a huge difference, because that's where you are, every day. So the difference having a good training ground, and in terms of bringing players in as well, because if you're bringing a player in, you're showing them around the training ground and everything. If you've got the better it is, obviously, the more chance you've got of signing the player.
I've also just thought your owners are American as well, aren't they? So have they spoken much about that? They must be really excited about the fact the World Cup is coming and having a Bournemouth, or having multiple Bournemouth players potentially representing out in America.
Yeah, I've not actually spoken to them. They've not been over in a while, but obviously we've done a few pre-seasons now in America, like LA, Chicago, and we always go and do like the sponsor dinners and stuff, and it's like proper kind of showing us off. I think they're buzzing. So yeah, I'm sure they're absolutely delighted that they're going to get to host a World Cup and hopefully have a few players part of that too.
It's amazing hearing about good owners though, because so often we don't, as football fans, you don't really hear about great owners. And I remember when they first came in, they were saying they want to get European football, and everyone was sort of going, "Yeah, well, dream on, really." But like now to see all the changes that they've made, and you're saying, it must be amazing.
Yeah, you can ask for a better change around the club.
Yeah, it also feels like they've kept the ethos of the club as well. They've kind of kept the mentality, but made it think bigger almost. Even like from the branding when you go there, it's pretty impressive at Bournemouth. Let's end with where you think Scotland will finish. Still going for quarterfinals?
Yeah, I think
I love that.
I think they'll do well. I really do. I think obviously the World Cup's more teams, so there's more opportunity to get out the group as well. But I think they'll surprise a few people. Yeah.
I think that's where we'll end it. That's a good place to end it, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I'm happy with that.
And Ryan, thank you so much for coming on. Best of luck for the summer.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
A reminder, you can listen to The Wayne Rooney Show on BBC Sounds, or you can watch us on the iPlayer or BBC Sport YouTube. We'll see you next time.
There's this noise that you make. You don't decide to make it. It just comes out. I don't know why that's good either. But everyone makes it at the same time. And it makes you feel... I don't know how to say it.
We know that feeling.
The FIFA World Cup 2026.
On 5 Live and BBC Sounds.